Yo, what up? What up? Welcome to Off the Record Sports. It's the crew. We back before you to discuss a few things in the sports world and even the political world. We'll get to that in a while, but first, of course, the way we start the show every week, we want to acknowledge who's power in the show. We're powered by crossover media. Sorry, the place where you can get sports and culture all in one place. Check us out at Crossover 365 on all your social medias. As you can see before me, we got a full cast today. 4 beautiful black men. Shout out to y'all. How y'all doing, man?
Beautiful.
I'm happy, man. Won another championship this year, so I'm happy.
That's right. That's right. So before we go there, let me introduce these guys the correct way. They're a little bashful when it comes to introducing themselves, so let me do it for them. First, I have Quan, aka OTR Quan, BKA, the man that was known to average 34.8 yards a carry at Wild Lake High School. Shout out to Wild Lake High School in Howard County, Maryland. What up, Quan? Tell the people how the dive play was your play, man.
Oh, that crackback sweep and that 34 lead, that Trey lead, yeah. Know all about it. Happy Saturday, everybody.
Easy 34 yards of carry, easy. Next up, we have Brandon, aka OTR Brandon, BKA, the man who almost got me jumped at my own high school when his basketball team came to visit our school in a game that both teams needed for playoff implications, and Brandon hit the shot that put my high school away, and I jumped up and forgot where I was sitting because I was sitting on my side of the gym, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. What up, Brandon?
What up? I think we still got the footage on that. I know I told Coach Jansen we was gonna look for footage of those games, but we definitely got the footage of those games. Mike, you had the slick back rolls.
Yeah. You almost got me jumped, yo.
Yeah, my bad. No, the next game I ain't do shit against City, which
people looked at me funny ever since then. And then last but not least, right? We have Alex, aka Mr. Laker 365, but I have a special introduction for him because the Lakers won the championship recently. So I want to show you what he's been doing recently since the Lakers won the championship. If you look on your screen, this is what Alex has been doing ever since the Lakers won the championship. He's been partaking and enjoying himself. him and his wife, of course, enjoying themselves as the Lakers won the championship. What's up, Alex? How you feeling, man?
You know I can't complain, man. Shout out to playoff Rondo. He's having a good time out there.
Rondo living it up. Rondo is living it up. Yeah, so, anyway, man, let's get the show going. We're gonna start in a little different. We're gonna start a little different than we typically do. Obviously, the world knows that we just had an election that finally ended. It felt like the longest election ever, but believe it or not, it wasn't. But as you see on the screen, Joseph Biden is the president-elect, the 46th president-elect. So we wanted to mention that. We wanted to talk about that for a little bit. So let's start with you, Quan, man. How do you feel about the election? How do you feel about what we just witnessed this week, man?
What we witnessed was history, as we all know. The information came out that by far this was the most, when it came to voters, people coming out to actually participate in voting. So it was a historical event, something that we've been able to see. We've been blessed to see. So actually, we got this asshole, out of office, which is a great thing. And so now only time tells to see what's going to happen next, to see what's going to go and what's going to happen forward. But the good thing is, man, we got this dude out of office, got him the hell out. It's going to be interesting to see what goes down going forward. Only time is going to tell. But I mean, the proof is in the pudding. The information is out there. You see the numbers. Biden took it. So, my hats off to him, man.
Word, man. Word. What about you, B? I know, you like you're into politics a little bit, but I know the politics world and the game could irk you a little bit. So how do you feel, man, about what we witnessed this week?
Well, step one for me is, we got we got Trump hopefully off the television screen, but I don't know, knowing him, he's not going out without a fight or anything like that. But it's time for us to now focus on holding this administration, this Joe Biden and them, holding them accountable. Mm-hmm. I mean, Cube met with Republicans to devise this platinum plan. I think that could be a good or decent starting point for the public, I guess, to gather around and start holding Joe Biden and them accountable. They said they would listen after the election. That's why Cube, met with the Republicans and not the Democrats yet. So now, that the election is coming to a conclusion, Biden's in there. Let's see what they have, man. Let's hold them accountable. If they don't do right, vote their ass out in 4 years too.
Word. Well said. Well said. Alex, man, me and you hopped on off the record podcast to discuss a little bit of politics yesterday. So I think I got a good feel of how you feel, but let the people know, man, how you feel about what we witnessed this week.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris winning the presidency. Like, Trump needed to go, period. So I voted for Biden and Harris. I'm glad that they are in office. I don't have unrealistic expectations that they're going to all of a sudden, do right by black people and do all these great things. I think there's some positive things that they can do. I think that there's some things that they simply can't do. Beyond getting into the weeds of that, Trump had to go. Like, unfortunately, 70 million people disagree and still voted for him. Mm-hmm. And as I stated yesterday, I believe those 70 million people to be racist. I don't hide behind people talking about economics or they like somebody's plan. No. You couldn't have watched this man in the last 4 years or the previous 70 of his life and came away with he's anything but a racist. So I'm glad Biden is there. We'll see how things go. If anything, I said this yesterday, if he just gets the coronavirus under control, that is a win because it was clear Trump's not going to get the coronavirus under control. And as Biden sets up his task force to take over the White House tonight, number one on his priority list, the only thing right now is to get the coronavirus under control. And that's what he should be doing. So I'm glad that they won.
Well said, man. Listen, it feels good that it's finally over. Well, I'm not even going to say over because I don't feel like it is over because I feel like unfortunately, Trump is gonna draw this out as long as he can in any way that he can.
I've got his statement, by the way.
You do? Go ahead, read it.
It's long, so I'm not going to read all of it.
Okay.
I'll give you the highlight. So this is how it starts off. Trump said, "We all know why Joe Biden is rushing to falsely pose as the winner and why his media allies are trying so hard to help him. They don't want the truth to be exposed." Trump goes on to say Joe Biden has not been certified as winner of any states, let alone the highly contested states needed for mandatory recounts, or states where our campaign has valid and legitimate legal challenges that could determine the ultimate victor. In Pennsylvania, for example, our legal observers were not permitted meaningful access to watch the counting process. Legal votes decide who the president is, not news media. He went on to say that beginning Monday, his campaign will start prosecuting in states to ensure that election laws are fully upheld and a rightful winner is seated. The American people are entitled to an honest election. This means counting all legal ballots, not counting any illegal ballots. Blah, 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 blah. Only a party engaged in wrongful doing would unlawfully keep observers out of the count room and then fight in the courtroom to block their access. So what is Biden hiding? I will not rest until the American people have an honest vote count that they deserve and democracy demands. There's more, but
see, that's where I was. I'm glad that statement, you reading that statement, came as I was speaking, because that's where I was headed with it. It's not going to be a positive transfer of power. It's going to be this shit here. And unfortunately, no matter what happens, if he got his way 100%, let's say they recounted every state that he's calling in question, and it still didn't go his way, he's still going to fight it. So he's not going to accept that he lost. He said that he was going to do this during the first debate, and he's just living the form. So I'm not surprised, but that's the annoying part of this whole situation, because he's not going to go peacefully. And
well, you have to have money to fight in all these states. And when this happened with Bush Gore, they fought one state, Florida.
Yeah.
Trump's campaign is broke right now. They're out of money. That's why Mike Pence, as I said last night, is calling around the donors trying to get more money. It's one thing to fight one state. It's another thing to fight 4 and 5 different state counts. And even when that happens, at most, there's a couple hundred votes that change hands, not 20, 30, 40, 100,000 votes in multiple states. He's done. And I, for one, can't wait to see the Secret Service and First Marines drag his ass out of the White House, kicking and screaming like the trailer park trash that he is.
So this is that was the next thing I was going to say. I discussed with my lady last night. I'm like, if they have to drag him out, that would be something, of course, that we've never seen. But it would be, it would be shameful for us to have to witness a president or former president being pulled out of the White House. Can you imagine that?
It's a first time for everything. So if we witness it, it's gonna be amusing.
It wouldn't be surprising though, right? And
he said he wasn't going out without a fight.
Yeah, and this is, I said that going into this, as we discuss politics on and off the record, pun intended, that this will be something that we've never saw before. And it's living to that. It's showing true to form. We have never witnessed anything like this. We've never witnessed, we've witnessed presidents, or we witnessed candidates fight what they feel the results weren't right? We've witnessed that, or dispute them, but not to this. And I think this is going to draw out for weeks to come. So
he's going to kick and scream on social media, and he's going to leave the White House. He's going to leave the White House.
I hope it ends that it has an ending that simple. I'm worried that it might not be that simple, and they try to drag him out the White House. He's going to have folks there that are going to be supporting him, and the mind frame that they have, and if they come in with weapons and all that other shit, like that's what I was saying. I posted before. I was like, you listening to this man speak, like he's trying to.
He's inciting this.
He's inciting. He is clearly. His word choice is very intentional. He's not. He's not as we could say he's an asshole. We could say we don't like him, but he's not as dumb. Like, he might not be book smart, but he's not as dumb as like people think he is. He knows. He knows what he's saying.
When it comes to the Constitution and the transition, it has to be done, and this is how it's been done.
He's going to be out. Yep.
Yeah, they ain't listening to that.
Yeah, that's true. But like, it doesn't matter how they feel. It doesn't matter what type of resistance they want to throw at. Once the transition happens, it's gonna happen. So you could either go along with it, or you can get it too.
Let me be real clear to every one of Trump supporters out there that's walking around with a shotgun thinking that they're going to intimidate somebody. Show up to DC if you want and try to protect Trump from getting removed from the White House. And the military will steamroll that 70 million people. Steamroll. I don't care how many rifles and shotguns you got as an American citizen. You show up and you try to get in the way of them removing a president, the military will steamroll you. So this isn't the 1800s where the revolution happened. Like, you're not gonna be fighting people, the military with pitchforks and rifles. It's gonna be over.
Oh,
but
look, they get up.
That's what we want to avoid, though.
Yeah, that's I
frankly,
I agree with you.
Frankly, a lot of these folks need to go. A lot of them need to go.
I agree with Brandon that this is what you want to avoid. And then to piggyback off what you said, Quan, like, of course, the transition of power has to happen, right? It's whatever the word is. It's bound. It has to happen, right? Yeah. The problem is we've typically seen the transfer of power be peaceful, even with Obama and Trump, who Trump has slandered him throughout. He ran off of slandering Obama, right? Even Obama transferred power peacefully with this man. This is not going to be a peaceful transfer. He has what left? 75 days left in office.
We're talking about possible mental illness and somebody who has spent their entire life getting whatever it is that they want.
Yeah.
Being always in their minds on the right end of the stick, regardless, and you can see these old interviews that are being posted on social media where people have been challenging him, been like, yo, what are you talking about? Like, okay, so what about this? And then he just, like, in one instance, he ends the interview or whatever. Like, he accountability, as far as he's concerned, does not exist. Like, he's never wrong. He's never lost. Even now, he's lost it. We haven't lost yet. Like, we've seen this behavior before. We might not have seen this at a presidential level in the public, but we've seen this type of behavior before.
They'll walk him out of there, and he's gonna go. He will go kicking and screaming. Maybe not literally kicking and screaming, but he's going to leave. Trust me.
We just haven't seen this on the like you said, presidential level, coming from the most powerful man in the world, the leader of the free world. We haven't seen this, and that's the part of it that is like it's crazy. But the ironic part of this, and then we can move on if you guys would like. There's more people upset. There's more people willing to fight. There's more people willing to defend this man and act out of pocket and try to intimidate people with pistols and guns and all of that shit. They're more upset now than they were when a black man was elected president. And that's crazy to me. Like, you didn't act this way. If now I know you support this man, and we know that, listen, a large majority of his base, Alex thinks the entire 70 million is racist. But we know a large majority of his base believes in that mindset. And you didn't act this way when a black man was elected president. But you're willing to do that now because he lost. And I just think that is ironic. I just think that's crazy. And I just think the times that we in, and I think all of this off of the back of this dude. Like, this dude has, either way, he's leaving the office and he's leaving the world in shambles, yo. All of this off of this guy, for this guy. So I just think
I'm more disturbed by the groves of look. I don't care what party you vote for, but I mean this guy, like, it wasn't even like Republican, Democrat for me. Like, that wasn't even the issue. It was him as a person. And what's even more disturbing than the folks that you mentioned, Mike, are the droves of black folks that were like, like undercover. Like I don't even know how to describe it. Like, are you undercover supporting this man or whatever? Like, I get the idea of earn the vote. As far as the black community is concerned, I get that, but see this is why I don't like to talk politics, man.
Well, let me take the words out of your mouth.
Like to talk.
There's always been a contingent of self-hating blacks. There's been a contingent of self-hating Latinos and Asians and other groups like that. But for the blacks that voted for Trump, you're just self-hating. You're part of the problem. And the ones that didn't vote for Trump, but then kept saying, well, what about the Democrats? Or what about this person? Or what are they doing? You're part of the problem too. Because you never challenge what the Republicans are doing. It's always what the Democrats aren't doing. So,
but you know what? I'm willing to, like, if for me, this is just strictly me. Like, as far as black folks are concerned, if you're going to vote Republican because you feel like it is a more fiscally advantageous position for you, fine. Just say that. But like, you've got folks that are like when I say undercover, you have folks that will that were pushing this, earn the vote stuff. Like I felt like they were trying to get black people to not vote because and you kind of hiding behind the fact that you might be supporting Trump, which if you do that, that's your business, whatever. But I particularly do not support that man at all. But it's like you don't have to vote for him to get him in office. And so you're hiding behind this, the Democrats have to earn the vote type stuff, trying to convince people not to vote. Like that piece was like the most disturbing out of all of this for me to see that.
Let's call it spade a spade. You talking about the Boyce Watkins?
He's one of them. He's one of them. He's one of them. He's one of them. He's one of many. Then you got your folks like the mainstream folks, the Candace Owens, folks like that. Yeah. And I've actually listened to conversations where I agree with some of the points that Candace Owens said. And there's a lot of things that Dr. Boyce Watkins talks about that I agree with. I followed him for years, but it just some things just ain't right.
My issue with those
types of an economical standpoint within to maybe grow and to make more money. But when you're looking at it from personal level, and what needs to be accomplished for the goal overall, it is sickening to hear that. To hear the fact that, like, look, you vote for whoever you want to vote for. I guess whatever ideology you believe in. But once black people started talking that Trump shit, and once black people started, getting on the road that, jump on, be with Trump, that's sickening. It was sickening to hear, like.
Right, but here's my thing. These folks, like, what is the reason? Like, why would you support somebody who's so like openly like just incites like conflict like that, and who that none of his actions were like presidential. It just seemed like it was a child in office the entire time. Yeah. Like, how do you support? How do you as an adult rationalize other than to say, you own a business and you're getting better tax returns? And if that's just say that, but don't.
But that's not even. We need another episode for this because that's not even. People are using that stuff as an excuse. Oh, Mike, we need another episode.
We do.
All I can say
is sweat, man. Can we talk about?
If it was a child that had the keys, the world, and people were like turning a blind eye to it, and were just like giving him the mere emotion that what he was doing was right, and people was like really rallying behind him. You know what I'm saying? And like,
okay. Let me jump in, Quan. Hold that thought. You're right, Alex. We're gonna have to do another episode on this. So let's stay tuned, people. Hopefully, right after we finish this sports show, hopefully we jump right back on and finish up this politics talk. But we wanted to at least mention what was going on and acknowledge that we had a new president-elect. So let's change up the tune real quick. And like I said, stay tuned. right after this, hopefully we'll jump back on and continue the discussion about politics. Because I had a question for y'all that was probably going to draw it out even more. So I'll save it for one.
Yeah, this it'll no longer be an OTR Sports episode. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. So moving on to sports, guys. Last time, well, we didn't get to record last week, but in that time frame since we've been gone, the Dodgers has won. They won the World Series.
Shout out to the Dodgers.
The Dodgers completed the LA sweep, taking, the Lakers won the NBA championship. The Dodgers won the MLB championship. So in the midst of that happening, there was some controversy. But I found this cool ass clip of the Dodgers winning the championship that I want to play for everybody. So let's take a look real quick. Now I thought that view from whoever was running behind them, I thought that was dope as hell to witness that. And then in the midst of that celebration, there was something missing or that wasn't shown. Some of you that follow baseball you may or may not know that in the midst of the World Series, in the midst of the Dodgers winning, one of their best players, Justin Turner, was removed from the game early because his test results somehow came back during the midst of the game, and he tested positive for the coronavirus. Right now, this picture, that's him in the middle with the red beard. This picture is him, and you see what's sitting next to him. What's wrong with this picture to you guys, real quick? Let me ask you that.
Well, look, you see, I believe that's their either team owner or GM, or I think it's the team owner leaning to the left or to the like, like because you one sniffle away from you might be catching that shit.
So the problem here with this picture is he was supposed to be in isolation, and clearly he was not. Clearly he was not in isolation because he's out celebrating with his teammates as they won the World Series. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel him. I would want to celebrate too because we just won the championship. But, bruh, there was people out there with their children, their wives, their families, and he don't have a mask on. So it just came out this morning or late last night that Justin Turner will not be punished for sneaking out of isolation, refusing to go back into isolation because he wanted to celebrate with his teammates. So what do you guys think about that? Did the MLB drop the ball on this?
I didn't know he snuck out. I thought they just let him out.
Nah, he snuck out. He was supposed to be in isolation. He was taken off the field, I believe, in his second
quarter. Second inning is when the test results came in.
But they didn't pull him off until the 6th inning, right?
Test results came in a second. Look, my LA folks and let me, you know what I'm saying? They let me know what went down. He was notified that Major League Baseball, he was tested once, it came back inconclusive. Right. Tested a second time, it came back positive, but it came back positive during the game. So again, how does a test come back positive during the game? You should have pulled him before the game, but it came back during the second quarter. Then there was questions of, well, who didn't pull him? Did Major League Baseball not notify the Dodgers in time? Did the Dodgers not pull him in time? They were notified in the second inning, and they didn't pull him to the 6th inning. They pulled him. They win. He came back out. Major League Baseball sent security to remove him from the celebration, and he refused to be removed. And security was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. And on the field also, who they weren't pictured in that particular picture, but obviously the commissioner is there to hand the trophy over. So the commissioner is on the field as well, and they can't get this guy off the field.
Let me say this, Mike. This really burns me up. As a person who I'm one of the on some level, I understand that you just won the championship, you want to celebrate. But if you tested positive for it, there's no way in the world he should have been allowed to come back on the field. But even before that, there's no reason why these tests should be coming back positive during a game. This should have been squared away before the game. If there was any inkling that he might have it, you pull him before the game. Furthermore, the NBA has figured out a way to get this right. Now, I don't know what happens this up and coming season, but they got it right. Can you imagine? Like, Justin Turner is one of the Dodgers' best players. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if LeBron or another superstar black player in the NBA caught it and refused to be removed from the field or the court? What the story would be? So let's not gloss over. There's some milk in this tea. All right.
They would have tackled his ass and dragged his ass off with national TV rolling.
Yeah.
And that's the case. Then MLB whiffed on this, but also why? So if they got the results back in the second inning and he wasn't pulled until the sixth,
yeah.
What was the purpose?
They don't care. The same reason the NFL don't care, and you know how I feel about the NFL. So these leagues don't care.
So let me ask y'all this: how much responsibility do you put on Justin Turner?
100% response. It's 100%. That doesn't mean there's no way in the world he should have been able to wave off security. Ain't no way in the world, man. Like, come on.
He actually now listen, I understand this was the circumstances, to everything with them winning. It was different, right? But honestly, he probably should have been escorted out of the stadium. If they came back.
And they should have had somebody at his room door, not letting his ass leave the way they was doing it with the NBA.
Right. Now, I agree with you, Alex, in one point where if the test results came back before the game and they were inconclusive, he shouldn't have been allowed to play until they came back and said one way or another. So MLB flubbed there, and I think they were looking at a sense from like, listen, it's game 6. The Dodgers are favored. Let's just get this over with. They thought money-wise, right? Now, because just imagine if the Dodgers would have lost that and they would have had to go into a game 7, he probably wouldn't have been able to play. Some other players may have not been able to play. So I think MLB made a decision on like, listen, we're going to have to try to.
But then to not punish him on the back end?
Yeah.
Like, come on, yo.
Yeah.
Well, has anybody else come up positive?
They haven't said, and I'm sure they're
probably not going to say.
Yeah, they wouldn't. They wouldn't say at this point. But it's interesting, man. It's interesting. So anyway, shout out to the Dodgers, man.
Yeah, shout out to the Dodgers. I watched more. I watched 3 innings of that game, and that's more baseball than I've watched in the last 30 years. So, shout out to the Dodgers.
Shout out to the Dodgers. And Brandon is probably the most into baseball out of the 4 of us. I would assume. I do follow the Orioles somewhat, but the Orioles ain't been good in some time. So.
I haven't watched the Orioles since Cal Ripken was there. When was that? 94?
Whether they're good or not, y'all going to their games is mad fun.
Yeah,
the Orioles game was actually fun. Yeah, but shout out to the Dodgers. I mean, look, I like the hat. It's blue. Nip Ward. Shout out.
Oh, I got some dope LA Dodgers shorts downstairs. Maybe I'll show them to y'all.
I want to see your trousers, dog.
No, bro. I ordered some Lakers shorts. These cats sent me the wrong one, so they sent me some Dodgers shorts.
Well, shout out to the Dodgers, man. Let's move on to some NBA news. So, again, since the last time we were here, there was some coaching. There was some new coaches that were hired. We spoke on who Houston would hire. Who would be good candidates for them the last time we recorded, and since then they hired Steven Silas, the son of Paul Silas. Another young black guy getting the chance. I'm happy for the hire. I am happy that he got hired. I saw his interview earlier where he said he expects the 2 people pictured with him to be there, Harden and Westbrook. We don't know if that's going to be true or not, but we shall see. But starting with you, Quan, like, how you feel about this hire, man?
you know what I'm gonna say. Look, anytime a black man gets an opportunity to do something great, to coach as well as do something he loves to do and to give back, hey, I'm all for it. Give him a chance. We'll see what happens. It is a big market, so the eyes are going to be on him. And if he wins, great. If he's not, he's going to be scrutinized. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if he can be that particular coach that can empower two superstars as far as Westbrook and as far as Harden. We'll see what they can do. They're another crack at it towards the West. They have a chance to go in the playoffs. I don't know about when it comes to winning a championship. LA. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's still a good opportunity for him. So I'm all for it, man. Like I said, anytime black man can get an opportunity like that to showcase his talents, his coaching, and help out, hey, good job, man.
Brandon, what you think about the hire, man? You think it was a good pickup?
Time will tell, but on the surface, it makes sense to me. I mean, to piggyback off of Quan, I do like to see a young brother getting an opportunity in the league. From my research on the guy, he's worked with some notable players, specifically in their isolation game. Baron Davis way back with the Golden State Warriors when Don Nelson was there. He's worked with Steph Curry, Kemba, all great one-on-one ISO players. And in his interviews, his introductory interviews, he said, he's going to work with them on that, but it's not going to be all ISO. He's going to make some tweaks to D'Antoni's system. He brought up a great point that, they're one of the better offensive teams in the league. And it looks like to me, it makes sense that they are going to keep, Harden and Westbrook. They fit that I guess his strength of coaching. Let's see what type of tweaks they make. I know he mentioned making them more versatile, not just playing the small man game, playing the big man game. So he's saying all the right things as far as I'm concerned. I look forward to see what they're gonna do. So kudos, good hire.
Tyler, what you hearing, man? What you think about this hire?
I echo the sentiments of my co-host, man. I'm glad to see a black dude get an opportunity to coach a franchise, and not just a down franchise, but Houston, major market. They've got 2 stars. So I'm happy for that. Steven Silas came out and said that he hopes to coach the Rockets in a way where they're less predictable. And we know for the last, 4 years, it's really just been Harden gets the ball top of the circle and shoots 33s a game, right? I mean, like we know what Houston is. Whether or not they're any better than they were before, what, 4th or 5th seed? I guess they're not better than either LA team. So they're not better than Denver. So I don't know if Golden State is Golden State. I say all that to basically say I'm glad Steven Silas got hired. He should certainly keep his eye on Tim Fertitta. I would be doing that if I were him, but I hope that if things don't go well, and they're not going to miss the playoffs or anything, but I hope, for example, if Houston does not win a championship, because that's probably the expectation of Tim Fertitta, that somehow Steven Silas doesn't get blamed, or he's the one that after this can't get another head coaching job. Right. Expectations are key. And so if you've got 2 powerhouses already out West, and you've got, the Heat, and you've got the Bucks in the East, expectations are key, man. So, but I'm glad Steven Silas got an opportunity.
Yeah, man, his name has been around for a while. The last couple years, he stepped in a couple of times on interim levels for a couple of teams once the head coaches got fired or whatever the case may be. The players seem to love him. I think it is a good opportunity for him. But like you said, expectation is key. Let's hope that the leash, so to speak, is long enough to allow him to, put his own systems and things in place. I know he did speak recently, and he did kind of denounce the whole small ball thing for Houston. So let's see what he does, man. Let's give this man a shot. kudos to the Rockets, but again, I don't trust. I just feel like that. I feel like the front office is in flux right now. We'll see how this pans out. We'll see how everything with Tim Fertitta does, and if he does try to fire sale this team or not. But Steven Silas said yesterday that he expects Harden and Westbrook to be there, so we'll see.
Well, something that just came across my timeline. Shout out to Draymond Green. He said the Lakers can actually now go celebrate their championship at the White House, and I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think an NBA team has been to the White House in the last couple of years, right? Golden State didn't go.
No. A lot of teams ain't. Man, a lot of sports teams did not go to the White House in the last 4 years.
The basketball teams didn't go, right?
Yeah.
The Patriots went, didn't they? Didn't they win in the last 4 years?
So who won the chip last year? Come on, Brandon. Who won the Super Bowl? The Chiefs. The Chiefs. The Chiefs didn't go, did they?
Well, I'm sure MAGA Mahomes' mother went.
So that
the Chiefs. Yo, chill, yo. He changed, yo.
You see stuff his mother be saying?
Nah, she be wilding out like that
on social media. Yeah, she's anti-Black Lives Matter and all. Like she goes hard.
That's wild because he speaks out for Black Lives Matter.
Let me pull up the tweets. You go ahead, Mike.
But and again, we had another hire. Again, the Brooklyn Nets are in the news, and again, it's for assistant coach. Man, the Brooklyn Nets, they brought in Mike D'Antoni as an assistant coach, and that adds. We already talked about Amari Stoudemire and Udoka. Man, I think that them bringing Udoka with them also is an underrated assistant coach hire. So
he was in San Antonio, right? As an assistant.
Yeah. So Steve Nash is building a nice little team, and it's smart for him to put good coaches around him because he doesn't have much coaching experience himself. So what do you guys think of Mike D'Antoni taking the assistant job to be with Steve Nash?
Ooh, that's an interesting hire because you're talking about a guy who is, a candidate for a head coaching job. He must not want that. He must be tired of head coaching. Like, look, I just want to coach. I don't want to deal with the press. But from a Mike D'Antoni standpoint, but from a Nets, it looks like. Obviously, the big elephant in the room. You got D'Antoni, you got Nash, you got Amari Stoudemire. So the 2000 Phoenix Suns are now coaching the 2020 Nets.
Yeah,
and they've got. If the Nets are healthy, they're gonna be a problem.
Yeah, what you think about the hire, Quan?
It feels as if D'Antoni coached Steve Nash, right, when he was in New York?
When they were in Phoenix, and Amari.
When they were in Phoenix.
Yeah, and Amari, Amari.
So that probably feels as if to him it may be home, to maybe like you said, Brandon, he may be in a situation the way he doesn't want a head coach. He necessarily just wants to just assist and let Steve Nash do his thing, and he can provide, years and years of knowledge of being an NBA coach. So, maybe he wants to step outside the limelight and give him that space. But only time will tell. So we'll see with that. But it sounds like it's an all right move for Steve Nash. Steve Nash kind of seems as if he's putting people in the right places to do something in the East.
But one thing's for sure, they're gonna be running and gunning and picking and rolling, picking and popping.
For sure.
Alex,
what you think about D'Antoni taking his name out of the race or the hats for some of these teams that still have openings? I guess OKC is the only team left, so maybe he didn't feel like he would be a good fit there. So what do you think about D'Antoni deciding to become an assistant coach?
Sometimes some folks are just better as assistant coaches than head coaches, right? And D'Antoni's had a lot of success as a head coach, but he's never, won a championship. He's in his 70s. Do you want the responsibility of being the head coach at this point in your career? Maybe he didn't anymore. He's even as an assistant in Brooklyn, he's going to still have a lot of power because he's, Mike D'Antoni and Steve Nash played for him and all these things. And so he just might be better suited at this point in his life to not have all the pressure on him. In regards to Brooklyn being a problem, I'm not worried. I ain't worried at all. I seen KD take a couple jumpers. Yeah, I seen Kyrie on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm not worried about them. Whatever.
You gotta play the games. You gotta play the games.
You do, and they ain't played in like 2 years. So I don't know.
So off the record. So are we saying is this speculation that KD can't come back the same way that he was, and give it 35 on an average night?
No. Year one, no. KD's gonna be good, man. No doubt. But like, if he comes back and he's 100% of what he was at Golden State, like that means modern medication is taking such leaps and bounds since he got hurt. Like, I saw it happen to Kobe, and Kobe was older. But the year Kobe tore his Achilles, he was averaging 27, 5, and 5. When he came back, he could barely average 20 points a game, and it took him 3 years. Now, he was older, but like Kobe also isn't 7 feet tall. Like, so is he going to be good? Of course, I think he can probably still average 25. Is he going to be able to lead the league in scoring? Please. And those days are over.
But what about the fact that he has Kyrie, though?
That's part of the problem. That's also part of the problem. So,
well, I mean, the one thing that's playing on KD's side is the scheduling, the NBA scheduling. Even though since they pushed up the start of the season, which we'll talk about in a second, he had a little bit more time to heal with the bubble and all of that stuff and the break in between. So we'll see. But it is tough to come back from an Achilles injury and return to form. Most people are speculating that who's experienced that injury, that he'll be back at 80, 85%.
That's what I think. Dominique, when he experienced it, I think he averaged 27 the following year when he came back.
Yeah.
But then after that, his scoring average went down.
Yeah.
I just want to see him play. That's all I want. I just want to see him play first before I'm like, oh, he's back.
Yeah. And that hire tells me that, you kind of touched on this, Brandon, that they're going to be running and gunning. You know what I mean? Steve Nash plans on running some form of D'Antoni's offense, if not the entire offense. So good hire, man. Whatever. It's a good to have an assistant with that type of experience, you can never go wrong.
Well, let me ask you guys this. If they're going to run any kind of semblance of D'Antoni's system, getting up and down the court, isn't that counterproductive to KD coming back this year? Like, not that he shouldn't come back, but isn't that going to put more wear and tear if he's got to run up and down the court the way that they do in Houston and Phoenix?
I mean, he's got to get his legs back, but I mean, that plays in the part of whatever conditioning he's doing now. But I mean, you can't really simulate, the wear and tear of playing in an actual NBA schedule. So it's going to take him some time, but this is a different NBA. We have had advances in medical, in medical, whatever. And so I think if he comes back, whatever percentage you want to put on it of himself in Golden State, this is a league that is designed for scoring. KD wasn't, he wasn't great because, he was as fast as Allen Iverson or jumped as high as Vince Carter. I mean, he's got knowledge of the game. So I think once he gets his legs up underneath him, he might not be as, fast or whatever, but I don't think that'll really matter. He'll adjust his game. He, like you said, he's 7 feet tall. He'll be all right.
Well, I kind of mentioned the Udoka hiring and how good that was how good of a pickup that was as an assistant coach. But I do want to mention this. His wife, Nia Long.
That's who he's married to?
He's married to Nia Long.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She just turned 50. So let's wish her a happy birthday. And what a lucky young man he is. So happy birthday to Nia Long, 50 years old, still
Black
looking
don't crack.
fine. Black don't crack, still looking fine as wine.
And we might have to do an OTR film on her last movie that came out. No,
What was her last movie?
She came out with like some movie earlier this year on Netflix.
Yeah, they're doing overlap.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was entertaining, but I was just kind of joking.
Quan, you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, okay.
You know, Quan sees everything. So, Alex, real quick, man. Yo, run down the news that the news of the start of the season, the free agency, and all of that with the NBA, because recently, I mean, LeBron, it's this is what I have so far. The 2020 NBA season will begin December 22nd, and it's just 71 days between the end of the season. It's the fewest in sports history. LeBron kind of tweeted something that showed his displeasure for it. So, if you could give us a quick rundown on what's to come from the NBA. I know there's the draft coming next, and then free agency and all of that.
Yeah, season's supposed to start December 22nd. Draft will be November 18th, and then within 48 to 72 hours, free agency, which is technically, we think it'll start November 22nd. So it's a fast turnaround. LeBron isn't happy. You know, he's an older player, man. The Lakers and Heat, obviously, they wouldn't be happy. They just finished up playing like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
So they're not happy about it, but the season will go on. You know, it doesn't matter. This, you know, for those teams and players that voted for this to happen, thinking it was going to somehow hurt the Lakers, it won't. We'll be okay. We'll still be there at the end. but you know, beyond all of that, there was never going to be a perfect time for them to start. Like, they were just not. My only concern is how they do it this up and coming season. They are not going to do it in a bubble. They have said that there will be certain arenas opened at 25 to 50%, and then they're going to only, I think, allow suites and boxes to be used. I think is what they're saying right now. Like, to me, this election might change if those arenas will be allowed to be opened, right, to the public. So I don't know. If I was the NBA, I understand why you want to get fans back in the stands, but with cases skyrocketing again, I wouldn't be letting nobody in these arenas except for the players and personnel that need to be there.
Yeah, that's that. I did read that, and that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Go ahead, Quan.
Yo, that's one hell of a turnaround, yo. Like, gosh, yo,
it is.
It's because of the Olympics in July. They're trying to fit it in between the Olympics, which basically also tells you all the superstar players won't play in the Olympics next year.
Hell.
They're going to skip it.
Yeah.
So they're going to send the D squad and get blown out.
Yo, it's like, yo, 71 days, yo. Like, yo, I just finished playing 2 weeks ago, yo. Like, I mean, like, and you already know what basketball players are, yo. Like, the taller you are, the gimpier you can be, the older you get. You know what I'm saying? So, like, at the same time, like, yo, you got to let your joints rest, yo. Like that. I mean,
I made this point the other day. Look, they were just in a bubble for 3 months away from their kids and families and wives and all those things. Maybe they really just want to have some time to relax, man. Like, now if they got to go back on the road in December around Christmas at that.
Yeah, man. That's I don't.
Listen, ain't nobody gonna be crying for them. I mean, I empathize with them, but at the end of the day, they are professional athletes. Yeah, with great salaries come great responsibility. I mean, they work hard for this stuff. But I will say this, Alex, I do think that this will make a difference. Like, as a coach, I don't know. I mean, LeBron, if he wants to play, he wants to play. But as a coach, I would consider maybe not bringing LeBron and AD back until like January, February.
Oh, they're gonna. Well, they'll be there for the Christmas Day game because the league needs LeBron and Anthony Davis on Christmas Day. But beyond that, I think that they're gonna probably load manage a bit. It'd be smart to do it. I mean, if anybody knows his body, LeBron knows it. Like, LeBron is great with managing his own body. So whatever he wants to do.
And that was gonna be my question to y'all, which y'all basically answered. I personally feel that we'll see a lot of DNPs, at least to start the season with, You know, and I don't know how that will affect if they do open these arenas. I mean, you're going to only open them at 25 to 50%, but a lot of the superstars sitting out, especially early, they already had a problem with that. I think then there's some rule that they came up with because it was happening so often. So if there is a rule, like I think that they're gonna have to look into adjusting that because it is a quick turnaround. And I think quick turnarounds lead to
injuries, bodies breaking down.
Yeah,
there was some discussion about letting the teams like the Lakers and the Heat and some of the other teams that made it deep in the playoffs. Like the season would start December 22nd, but then those teams wouldn't start playing games till like early January.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'd work the schedule out that way to give them a little bit more of a cushion.
Yeah,
it's still a lot because even within this time frame, I mean, you're talking about not just rest, but training and practice. Yeah. So it's not just 70 days of rest you got left. You got to train and practice the whole time. Like it's
so you really may have like 40 days left. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you probably don't have that long.
For me,
you got to start now.
Gosh, man.
I think the Lakers will probably bring in some solid players to help fill in some of those minutes because whenever you come off a championship, there's always some quality vets that are willing to come along for a year or two. So we'll be okay. I can't speak to other 29 teams out there or whatever, but we'll be okay.
Yeah,
I've always had faith in the squad.
And let's be honest, like to piggyback off of what you said, Quan, it is a short turnaround, but the NBA trying to get this Christmas push in. I mean, they know Christmas Day is a huge sports day.
It's the TV day. That's what it is. But the TV money's already set in stone. It's a lot of stuff.
And it's not just the NBA, but the networks want it just as bad.
Well, that's what it is.
Yeah, the networks want this viewership and all of that. So,
I mean, look. Kev started making crossovers like a 45-year-old Popeye Jones, yo. I don't want nobody getting upset. I don't Cats being mad. I don't want any of that. I just the money's set in stone. Chris, okay. But damn, that's one hell of a turnaround.
I mean, they lost 40% of the revenue this year because they didn't, fans weren't allowed to be in the stands, and so they want to get this. They want to get to a 72 game season to honor them, the TV deal and all this other stuff, and so we'll see how it works out.
Do we really need 70? I mean, I'm an NBA fan, so I'm going to watch a 72 game season. But do they really need 72 damn games to determine the top 8 teams in each conference? Like that's a bit like who came? How did you come up with 82 ass games in the first place? Like how many games we should play? 82. Oh, all right, yeah, that seems like damn.
That's a good question, and this is I don't know, Alex. Maybe you can answer this. Is this rumor or if it's truth? I was reading somewhere that they are considering the last 7 through 10 playing in a play-in.
Yeah, the same thing they did for the bubble.
6
looks like they're going to do the play-in.
Yeah,
looks like that's going to be legit. That's the thing they're going to do. They're also, I believe, they're going to hold 25% of the player salaries over the next 3 years to offset any losses the league takes from this revenue drop. So, that's also why they're playing 72 games. Like LeBron doesn't need to play. He's good for life. But there are guys who only sign one contract, and that's the bulk of that's their career earnings forever. So, those players, they do need these games. So,
well, staying on the NBA train, of course, y'all know me for creating some segments to have fun with the fellas. So I did create one based around NBA. With the draft coming up and pending free agent coming up soon after that. So I wanted to have some fun with these guys. So I created a segment called NBA Rumors, the real, the fake, and the ridiculous. So what I have is some rumored moves and players joining other teams. And I'm going to show them to you guys. And I want you guys' opinion on it. How's that sound?
That's cool.
Fun, right? Fun, fun.
Yay!
So we'll go quick. We'll be quick with that. So everybody, give you a little piece on it. What you think? If it's ridiculous, if it's possible, if it's real, if it's fake, or whatever the hell. So listen, the first one that I thought was interesting. was well, this one. I mean, it seemed a little ridiculous, but then it was like, okay, maybe, right? So this one has LA or LaMarcus Aldridge and what's the homeboy name? Help me
DeRozan.
out. DeMar DeRozan, yeah. Joining Luka and KP in Dallas, man. What do y'all think about this? Is this ridiculous, or could you see this possibly happening somewhere?
I don't.
Go ahead, Alex.
No, I don't know about the salary cap. So salary cap aside, I wouldn't make that move. If you want Luka to have space to operate, why would you bring in two dudes that shoot from 16 to 18 feet? It doesn't make sense.
Aldridge isn't so much my issue with this one because he can spread out, but DeMar DeRozan, I am interested. That is an interesting selection because, I mean, as Alex mentioned, he's mid-range in. He's not really, if I got Luka and Porzingis in a two-man game, whatever, or just ISO, and they drive and they kick it out to DeMar DeRozan. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't know. I think a better selection. Now, on the other hand, if I got DeMar DeRozan on the wing and he's got the ball, and he can get to the rack anytime he want to, he's gonna draw defenders. He can kick out to any three of those guys, and it's money. But we know Luka's gonna have the ball in his hands the most. So I don't know about DeRozan there. I don't know how that would work.
So let me ask y'all this: what if this was to happen some possible way? Magically, the shit happens. Could this team make some noise, possibly championship? I mean, I would assume if Dallas was able to pull some shit off like this, they would be expecting championship. So, do you think this team, this foursome right here, could and would win a championship?
Are LeBron and Anthony Davis still Lakers?
Yes.
Well, no.
I think Luka and KP alone now, they're at somewhat of a they're a playoff team, a playoff team that can give any team in the league a scare. I don't know. I don't know about those pieces though. I don't know.
So okay, sounds like that team doesn't scare you. Okay, so the next proposed rumor that I seen on the net, Russell joining the Greek Freak in Milwaukee, man. Like, hey, I feel like this could happen.
Two dudes that can't shoot outside of 5 feet.
I was about to say basically the same player.
Excuse me. I feel like this could happen, and I feel like these two together in the East could make some noise, man. What do y'all think?
I can't see it happening. I just like said, two of the same players. Westbrook definitely gets after it from the point guard position. Not the biggest shot, but I just and he's a Hawk. I don't see the Greek Freaky. You know what I'm saying? I can't see it, dog. I just can't see it. It's hard. It's hard for me to picture it. I just
look. Milwaukee wouldn't give Malcolm Brogdon a max extension. His extension was like 25 or 29 million. Why would you bring this guy in that's older and makes 43 million? And basically, as Brandon alluded, is the exact same player you already have on a roster, but 6 inches shorter.
Well, Westbrook is, I think he's a better player than
Brogdon.
Brogdon is a damn good player. But I think Westbrook is a little bit higher on the hierarchy. But I'm gonna say false because I really think Houston is going to try to make it work with Russell and Harden. Now, once it gets to closer to the trade deadline, that might change. But if Houston is a top 4 seed, if they're in the top 4 by the trade deadline, I think they're going to try to roll with Westbrook and Harden and see what they get.
Well, so listen, a reason why I could see it happening. Because I feel like Milwaukee has to make a big move to keep the Greek Freak happy and wanting to possibly stay in town. So it might not be Russell Westbrook, but I do feel they need to bring in another big name for him to want to stay. So
that may be hard, Joe.
I mean,
I got Russell Westbrook in New York before I got him in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's the city's whack. I'm sorry, but who wants to look? You know what I mean? If you want to go,
chill, yo.
But they did just help us get Biden.
I was about to say, chill, yo. Milwaukee stepped up, man.
And he was playing in Oklahoma City. If you could play Oklahoma City, you could play in Milwaukee.
Right. Okay, so the next one. This one's for you, Alex. I know. Listen, man. I know you like the team you got.
You about to say something with CP3, I'm sure.
No. I think this can help you out, man. This is a proposed trade, sending JaVale, sending Danny Green, and sending Kuzma to San Antonio for LaMarcus Aldridge. How would you feel about that deal?
Yeah, I mean, I don't look. I haven't watched LaMarcus Aldridge play since he was in Portland, so I don't really know how good he is anymore. But what I will say is that at Kuzma's contract, I believe it's $3 million this season. Danny Green makes $15 million, and Jarrell makes I think 2.5. Why would you trade that to get LaMarcus? Like I don't know, man. Like, look, you can pretty much put anybody next to LeBron and Anthony Davis, and they're going to be competitive. But I don't know if I'd do that.
What you think, Brandon?
I think for Aldridge it would be ideal. I think for everybody else, though, it doesn't make sense. Like, why would you? I don't have a problem. Like, I think I'm higher on Danny Green than most people. Kuzma, he's young. You just won a championship with this team. There's, they could still play. Build around that shit. The Lakers just need to just tweak. They don't need to do nothing like this.
Well, I mean, I think the idea is, I think people expect the Lakers to add a third All-Star or a third piece, and I think this proposed deal, obviously, it came from somebody online, but I think the feel behind this is this will be an easier, probably cheaper way for the Lakers to add a third All-Star, and they will be able to sign some veteran pieces to go along with that team. So
this sounds like something fans cooked up. Like, I mean, I'm not an NBA GM, but I'm just looking at this like, why the hell? Just to get a third, like LaMarcus Aldridge is in the twilight of his career. I would much rather have. I mean, Danny Green. How many times he's been to the finals? Why would I? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, Danny, you know how I feel about Danny Green. I ain't see him hit a shot all bubble. That's just me.
Well, he get hot, yo. He's a problem, and he's got championship experience, yo. He's I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Sorry.
What you think, Quan?
I mean, Danny's hit some big shots. He didn't hit any shots this year in the bubble, but I mean, he's hit some high shots, some really key shots, man. And he's a Tar Heel, so I'm always gonna shout out them Tar Heel boys. At the same time, if they're younger, I still think Kuzma's all right. You know what I mean? I still think I still think he can do some things. He's young. You can work with him. I don't see it from the standpoint of bringing LaMarcus Aldridge in. Like, if they already won a championship, like.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't think the Lakers are better with LaMarcus Aldridge.
Okay. All right. The next one. What you think? You think this is possible? You think this is bullshit, ridiculous, or what? The freak.
I think it's possible.
Joining Luka in Dallas.
It's possible.
Cuban. It's possible. Cuban is aggressive. He's trying to win. But still, it's like these are two ball dominant players. And the only way it would work is if they both were willing to defer to each other. I think. I wouldn't. I try to find role players like Luke. You got Luka, you got KP. Now get the right role players around them. I want the ball in Luka's hands. I don't know. It could happen, but I don't know if I'd do it.
So let me ask y'all this: if this was to happen, right? Where would you place this team in the Western Conference? We know the Western Conference is pretty stacked. So where would you place them seed wise?
Is LeBron and Anthony Davis still in Los Angeles?
They're still in Los Angeles.
Well, look, this is your poor man's version of that. I said it. All right.
Wow. Poor man.
So 4 or 5, or
well,
2, 3.
It depends on what you think of the Clippers. I mean, the Clippers. It really comes down to where you place the Clippers in Denver, right? Isn't that what this comes down to?
Yeah.
Do you think Denver's for real?
Yeah, Denver's been good for this. Like people just noticing Denver, but Denver's been good for at least a couple years.
So is that team better than this version of Denver we just saw?
In the beginning of the year, they wouldn't be. What people don't take into account is that this team they would have to gel. They would have to find some type of chemistry, and I think in the first half of the season, they would have their issues finding that. And until they did, no, they're not a top 4 seed even with those two. But once they did, yeah, I think they are a top 3 team in the West if they found that chemistry. Yes.
Okay.
And they could challenge. I would have to see it work. If they found that chemistry, they could challenge any team in the West because Luka is that good, and so is Giannis.
Hold on, any team in the West? You're not drinking already, are you? I know you had a coffee cup.
I had a coffee. Look, I mean LeBron. I'm not.
You said Brandon had a hot toddy.
I'm just a realist, man. I'm just a realist. I know. Look, anybody who's been in the trenches, no matter how good you are, or whatever you do, you have to work hard. This quick turnaround, you have a lot of things that you got to be concerned about with the Lakers. Yeah, you got LeBron, you got AD, but you got to worry about the health of your players. Number one, with the quick turnaround, whatever pieces you're gonna add. Like during that time, other teams that haven't played as long as you, they might be ready to go. You might have to fight your way out of a hole a little bit, and you might not be the number 1 seed next year, which is going to make it a little harder to get to the chip.
People said that this year
in the NBA, they'll tell you the next one is harder.
Well, I know you know this. I've been a Lakers fan for 2 back-to-backs, so yeah. I've seen this happen several times in my life. And look, people didn't think that we'd be number 1 seed this year in the West, and we were the number 1 seed this year. People thought that Lakers wouldn't have to be the number 1 seed. Look, it is a quick turnaround. All the teams that could challenge the Lakers have that same quick turnaround. Denver's got the same quick turnaround. I mean, Milwaukee really doesn't, but they got humiliated. I'm not worried about them at all. Like all the teams, all the good teams have the same quick turnaround. The Lakers have a little bit of a quicker turnaround. I mean,
well,
the Mavericks would be amazing.
It's like, okay, so for instance, like Portland. I know that Portland, nobody's expecting to win the championship, but let's take this in consideration. Just using as an example, two seasons ago, not this past season, but the season before, they win the Western Conference Finals.
That was
this year.
How many Western Conference Finals have they been in since 2000?
But I'm just saying those would be the type of teams that may start off, quick and fast coming into this next season. They were in the bubble, but not as long as LeBron and them. They got eliminated like 2 rounds before they did. So they have at least a month's more rest. These teams could come out and start well. I'm just saying these are things that could happen. We're talking about like real life. Like niggas gotta get some rest. They
start too fast and you might blow your load. So all right.
I mean, and some of those teams will. They will, but my point of saying that is that you might not be positioned at like the number 1 seed where you've got home court every series. You might come into the Western Conference Finals being the number 2 or 3 seed, having to play the 1 seed and not have home court event. It's going to be harder. It's
only way Lakers don't have the 1 seed in the West is if the Lakers don't want the 1 seed in the West this year, and that's because LeBron's chilling and they're taking time off. That's the only reason.
I think I was going to say I think that this could with the short turnaround. This could be a year, and we've seen this before with other teams. This might be the year that teams choose health over.
You have to
over trying to get the number 1 seed. Long as they in the playoffs, they know if they get there healthy that nobody can mess with them. So you may not see who you expect to be the number 1 seed, but that might not be the most important thing going into this season. Some might say, listen, we want to be healthy there, so we get a 1, 2, 3 seed, we cool. So we'll see. But let me move.
Okay, let's move on. I was gonna say one last thing. When it comes playoff time next year, and Lakers are in the playoffs versus Golden State, and Steph and them, and they on fire. I don't want to hear it. Well, they weren't in the bubble last year. They had 3 months more rest, and LeBron and AD are fucking questionable every damn game. I don't want. Hey,
it could
I'm
be.
I mean, I told you.
You won't hear that from me. I mean, look, Golden State, they're Golden State, but we're better than Golden State. I don't know what you want me to tell you. They needed Kevin Durant to beat LeBron. I mean, I don't know what you want me. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Well, speaking of Golden State, this next rumor involves them.
Okay. Bam.
Well, this is a two-way deal, but some kind of way they have Bam ended up in Golden State, and we got Joel Embiid ending up in Miami. Is this possible? And if this was to happen, what would these moves do for those teams?
I'll tell you what. I don't know, yo. If Embiid to Miami.
Is Embiid that missing piece? Would he be that missing piece for Miami? Now, obviously, they wouldn't have Bam anymore, but they would be adding Embiid. Would he be that missing piece to get them over the top?
I mean, who's the best center in the East besides Embiid?
Embiid, the best in the East, I believe.
That's what I mean. Who? Okay, yeah. So, all right, that by far puts him and Jimmy. I mean, that puts them two already crushing the East, yo. And that may just kind of that's going to tilt the two. Actually, when it comes to a particular East versus West, you know what I mean. Part two, if that was the case, part two, LA versus Miami. That's gonna be a good run. Now I don't know about the outcome, but that's gonna be a good run, East versus West.
You know that.
I'm gonna say this is fake. There's no reason for Miami to do this. Look, one of the main ingredients of Miami's success, other than having talent and good coaching, is the fact that they have chemistry. Jimmy Butler has gone from team to team and has had issues. This is the first time in a while he's probably been on a team where he was like 100% comfortable. Everybody seemed to be on the same page, and people can have their opinions on who they think is going to make this team. I don't think Embiid makes Miami better. I think Miami is better with Adebayo. I think Embiid is a better offensive player than Adebayo as far as a skill set to score. But Adebayo is that piece that Miami needs. They just need to build around what they already have.
Well, let me jump in. Jimmy Butler and Embiid are really, really close. They're really good friends. Mm-hmm. So I think Butler would welcome this. Now
we've seen that already, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's true.
All you three gentlemen are ignoring the elephant in the room. Embiid only played 51 games last year in a shortened season at that. I think the league played 70 games. So Embiid last year, 51 games. Year before, 64. Year before, 63. Year before, 31. And then the 2 years he didn't play at all. If you are Miami, you do have to ask, like, all right, can he play 72, 82 games when things get right? And the way Jimmy rides his teammates, is he comfortable with Embiid taking time off? I don't know. Like, things look rosy with Embiid and Jimmy now, but when they were in Philly, there was, squabbling. So I don't know.
I agree with you on this one, Alex. I agree with you.
I do think that Bam would fit Golden State perfectly.
Isn't he just a better Draymond Green?
Yeah.
No.
But I mean, I'm saying
Bam would fit anywhere. He's the type of player that would fit in any team.
Yeah, but I think adding two Draymonds to that team would be, that he would fit in perfectly with them because he runs the floor, he can shoot, he can pass, and Draymond does Draymond is not as good a shooter, but he does those type of things. He does the dirty work type things, but I think Bam can also create his own shot against big men that'll be playing him that out in the West. So I think Bam would fit. I don't know if Miami would take that number 2 pick for Bam, or if even Golden State would be willing to give it up for him. But
there's word that Pat Riley doesn't even want to give up Bam for Giannis. Now, look, obviously Pat Riley will open up a bottle of wine and give up a Bam for Giannis if he had to. But if you're Miami, you're holding all your pieces for an opportunity to get Giannis. Nobody else.
I wouldn't. There's.
You wouldn't give up
Bam for
Giannis?
Not today. No, they just made it to the finals. Like you guys are seriously underestimating the aspect of chemistry. Like, so what if Antetokounmpo is a superstar and Bam isn't? Having the right pieces in the right system. That's what's
the gap? What's the gap between Bam and Giannis to you? Because I think the gap is massive. They're not even the same stratosphere. So you make that trade.
You've built a system, a well-oiled machine. Now you take a piece out of that and try to fit in something else just because from an individual skill standpoint that player might be better or more valuable or however you want to categorize it. But you essentially are breaking something that's actually working.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but if you're breaking that cycle for like
an MVP
for an average player, then I wouldn't want to do it. But if you're doing it to get
Jimmy Butler's not, you got an MVP candidate. Jimmy Butler's not an MVP candidate.
Yeah, but if you can add another once in a lifetime player, like
Giannis is what, 24?
You have to look into doing.
I don't disagree with that, but I think in this case, Miami has. I don't think you fuck with what they have.
They have a good thing. They have a good thing. Like they fit. They fit very well with each other, right?
I don't trust Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. I don't trust any of them folks.
That's another thing, though. You don't know if this team if they're stumped, if their growth is stumped at where they got this year. Or if they can continue to lean on people like Duncan Robinson. You know what I mean? Like, they do have a good thing. They do have a good core. They do have a good group that knows what their roles are. And that's showed this year. That's how they were able to make this run through the playoffs. But I don't know if I trust that they can continue to do that without some help. Now, Bam is a part of that major core. So, removing him would change some of that. But I just feel like if you got a shot to get a major once in a lifetime player like the Greek Freak, you have to look in there. But I feel what you're saying. Let's go to the next one. So here would be a trade between the Houston Rockets and the Philadelphia 76ers. You would be sending Al Horford and Embiid to Houston for Russell Westbrook.
Dog, if you're going to say Westbrook and Simmons is a cheaper version than Westbrook and Giannis. Like, they for a team that just brought in Daryl Morey, who loves teams to shoot threes, to have Westbrook and Simmons as your two guys, yikes.
Yeah, I can see that team struggling to like late in the playoffs. These guys, they handle the rock a lot. Westbrook and Simmons, and I could see them like running out of gas at some point in the playoffs. They try to pound the ball, take it, drive it into the hole, but the lane is closed out, and they kick it out to each other, and neither one of them can hit a three. And I don't know. I say all that, but I think Russell Westbrook could definitely in the East could carry a team to the playoffs by himself. But I don't know if this is the end game that I would want in Philly. Is them two together. I don't see myself winning the championship with them two. We'll be good, but we're not championship.
Do you guys think Embiid and Harden could play together and be successful?
It depends. Yeah. The short answer, yes. I mean, anytime you have great players, I think that you could get them to play together. Whether I think that they would win the championship or not, that's a totally different conversation. I would say no. I don't have Houston winning the championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think only thing I see adding Westbrook to the Philadelphia team would then go into that small ball play that Morey did. Morey was involved with in Houston, but I don't know how far that would get them. Houston with Harden and Embiid, I don't know. Harden, obviously Embiid needs somebody to get him the rock. And Harden is a high assist guy, but Harden is he's the black hole. Like he hold the rock. He need the rock in his hand. So I don't know. That would be an interesting move right there. So this next one involves a couple players and possible destinations that people could see them going to. So this has Chris Paul possibly going back to the Clippers. This has Karl Anthony Towns being traded to the Celtics. What we already discussed with Greek Freak going to Miami. Bradley Beal somehow ended up in LA. Embiid ended up in Golden State. And Steven Adams joining or following Chris Paul back to LA. Can you see any of these moves happening? And if they did, man, how would they affect these teams? Like, I think I could see Bradley Beal in LA. I could see Embiid. I could see Golden State making a move for Embiid. I can see that as well. So, and I could see the Greek Freak in Miami. Now, the other ones I don't know, but
the Karl Anthony Towns one is interesting in Boston. I wonder what they would have to give up to get that, or is he a free agent now? Can they just
no?
So he traded.
Yeah,
it depends on what they would give up. I guess if they could keep God, I don't know why I can't think of his name right now.
Jaylen Brown. And Tatum.
Yeah, if they can keep Brown and Tatum and even Marcus Smart, if they can keep that core together, that's a problem out east. Steven Adams. Steven Adams in LA. Chris Paul is who you really want there. Embiid and Golden State could work. Bradley Beal in LA. Yeah, I'd give up Danny Green for that. And we already talked about Giannis in Miami. That's what I think Bradley Beal in LA, that would be a huge problem. I think his game, I think he went to another level this last season or two. He's one of the best two guards in the league in my eyes.
My man Baylor the Great. He said they'll gladly take Bill over here in LA. He's a Lakers fan, and actually, Alex, I spoke to Baylor about you being a Lakers fan, and he wants to connect with you eventually, man, because you being a Lakers fan on the East Coast. He would like to pick your brain on that. CP3 can go east. We don't need that engine for that price.
Chris Paul did well in Oklahoma City. He surprised me, yo. This year. The success that they had. He still can help a team tremendously, in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't know, Alex. Bradley Beal in LA. Would you take that? Would you like to see that? Can he be that third piece?
Not only could he be the third piece, but obviously as LeBron rides off in the sunset, you're starting with Bradley Beal and Anthony Davis, both in their primes. You're competitive at that. You know what I'm saying? Like with LeBron, you're damn near guaranteed to make the finals. With Bradley Beal and Anthony Davis, you should be competing to make the finals every year that they're both healthy. So yeah, I'd take it.
Yeah, man, I could see a couple of these moves actually working if it was to happen. But I could see Golden State honestly making a move for Embiid for that number 2 pick.
He would be a fit there.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it happening. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one involves a clip show. It's kind of the same one we just went over. They got Chris Paul possibly being the third piece with Kawhi and PG. So we can skip that one. This one, I think this one was kind of a who cares, but that's Harrison Barnes and Gordon Hayward being traded for each other. And I think if we go talk about the real, I think that this is possibly being looked at, honestly.
If the Celtics got Harrison Barnes and Cat, then you're talking. Other than that, this is. I think Harrison Barnes is a better player than Gordon Hayward at this point, but that's just my personal opinion.
That's a wash deal. I just threw that one. I just threw that one on there. Here's another one that they saying is a strong possibility. They saying that now, especially now with Morey joining Philadelphia, that they will strongly look at Harden. So if Harden joins Ben Simmons and Embiid, what could that mean for this team? What kind of noise could this team make, especially out east?
Well, I just off the top of my head, I'm just trying to picture this. I think if that combination there, Simmons is going to end up getting traded somewhere.
Yep.
He's not going to be in that 3. I like Harden and Embiid together. If I was in Philly, I'd be excited about that.
Still got Tobias there.
Yeah. You see what you can get for Simmons at that point. Because if Harden's got the ball, he kicks it out to Simmons. What's the point in even having him on the floor?
Well, what if they made it happen? What if they pulled these 3 together? What if Houston took Tobias and Al Horford and some of them other cats to pull this deal off and some draft picks? Would this team be in the top? I'm sure they would be in the top 3. I would put them in the top 3 in the East, right? Is this a finals team right here? Could they get it together?
I think they get in each other's way. I think Simmons has to go. If you're able to keep him and still bring in Harden, then your next trade is moving Simmons to fill out the roster.
Okay. Quan, jump in here, man. You sitting there. What you think, bro?
I guess. I guess. Shit. Harden does his thing, wherever he's at. So, Simmons needs to start stepping up more so and, start being more of a dominant force. And Embiid, he needs to just stay healthy. But if that was the case, I'm just going off of if that was to happen. But I couldn't see it happen. I couldn't see it happening.
With them 3 on the floor. Oh, go ahead.
I think James Harden. I think honestly, I just think he's a West guy. I just think of course, the money calls, then yeah, but I just think that he's a West Coast dude, and he likes being in the West.
Who?
James Harden.
Oh,
yes.
He just got married too, I believe.
You'd have to be creative. Like you can't run a traditional offense with those 3 on the. Like with those 3 on the floor, I would consider maybe like playing, like putting Simmons at the quote unquote 5 and then let him run the offense somehow. I don't know. And then have those guys, start off on the perimeter. I don't know. You would have to get creative.
Yeah. I agree with Baylor here. I think that Ben will be the odd man out for some reason. Yeah. He's just, he's one of those weird players. Like he's super talented, man. But it's like, in these type of conversations, man, he's always the one that's pushed like, he got to go, or he would be the odd man out. And I'm sure part of that has to do with his lack of shooting. But I think this guy's talented, man. I think he's talented.
He's super talented. He just needs the ball. With a guy who doesn't shoot from the outside, who needs the ball in his hands, that's not typically a good conversation a good combination in today's NBA. But Simmons can play.
All right. Well, this next one, man, I put this one on here. This was actually considered a true rumor. So I wanted to get your opinion on this, and then I wanted to get the fellas' opinion. So according to Mark Cuban, this was about to happen.
2006.
Kobe was headed to Dallas. They had a deal verbally agreed to.
Mm-hmm.
And then, was it Jerry West who ended this?
Jerry Buss. According to Mark Cuban, Jerry Buss agreed, and then 15 minutes later, Jerry Buss said he just couldn't do it. But if that would have happened in 2006, if that happens in 2006, Kobe still gets 2 or 3 more rings.
So that's my question about posting is with these two teamed up, man. What kind of noise would they have made together? And could they have played together?
In 06? Yeah. Well, yeah, and Dirk would have taken the back seat. Dirk would have been okay with that. So Dirk would have basically been a better version of Powell. And Kobe went to 3 finals with Powell. And this was Kobe when he was like 35 points a game, Kobe. Like, he was torching the league. So, yeah. Who was good in 06? Like, what team? Who won in 06? The Pistons 104, Heat 105. Who won 06?
I have to look it up.
Did the Heat? Well, the Heat went back to back, didn't they?
No, because Shaq was there in 05.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I'm thinking.
So I don't know who. If Boston won 08, I don't know who wins 06, but if these two would have got together, they would have been in their primes, obviously. Like, the way Dirk can shoot.
The Mavericks won in 06. They beat the. Oh, no. Miami won. Miami 4-2 in 06. They beat the Mavericks.
Yeah, so that was Shaq and Dwayne Wade on that Miami team to beat Dirk that year. So you talking about prime Kobe with Dirk? Sorry, Shaq, you would only have 3 rings. I don't know what else to tell you.
So Baylor said 3 rings. These guys would have got 3 rings together.
But I can't imagine myself cheering for Dallas. I'd rather Dirk have come to LA.
Now I could have swore that the story I seen was the Bus family had agreed to this trade, and then I think the story is that Jerry West called Kobe because they said Kobe had requested this trade and told Kobe out of leaving LA.
Nah, Jerry West was already gone from LA at this point.
That's what I'm saying. That's why Cuban was saying that's the interesting part of this story, because West was gone, but yeah, he influenced this deal. That's what I should have kept the screenshot that I had of the write up about this, but
Cuban's talked about this, so this apparently is true.
Yeah, Cuban said that this deal was agreed to in principle, but Jerry West, who was not a part of the Lakers at this time, put in a call to Kobe and was like, "Listen, man, you don't leave," and it changed Kobe's mind, and it didn't happen. So that would have been, that just would have been interesting. It's always cool to hear people talk about these stories. But listen, this is the deal that I see happening. This will probably be the most. This will be the biggest deal of free agency right here. This next one that I'm putting up, I'm calling this happening, and this could lead to a championship. But this was on the rumor mill as well. Warriors signing Jeremy Lin.
Lin sanity.
This will be the biggest rumor. This will put the Warriors over the top. Clearly, I'm just joking, but
I mean, if you get Lin sanity, Jeremy Lin, then we haven't seen him since he left New York.
But
we do know
that was a great 2 months of basketball, by the way.
Somebody on here they were definitely a Lin sanity fan, and we used to hear that all the time, every single day. So
Lin sanity, he's wheeling and dealing and tantalizing.
Wasn't Melo on that team too?
Yeah.
But he was injured. Oh. They were injured. They weren't playing. We fell back on Jeremy Lin, and I remember watching that game, that first Jeremy Lin game. I was thinking we was gonna get our asses kicked that night, and Lin sanity was born. Like I said, it was a good 3 weeks of basketball for me.
Lin sanity, man, that shit took over New York for a minute.
Yeah, then LeBron and D-Wade came into the Garden in like the midst of Insanity, and we thought we was gonna hang in that game, and they did what Jordan Pippen did to Kukoc in the Olympics that year. They did it to Insanity that night. Y'all had like 20 turnovers, yo.
Well, that was a little bit of fun, man. I thought we had some fun discussing some of these off the hook scenarios of possible teams teaming up. I guess we can move into the pick'em. I don't know how if you want to hang around or if there's anything else you wanted to discuss.
I'm gonna just watch y'all. I'm gonna hang around. I do want to see this Quan versus Brandon battle. that we would love to get to.
Okay. We'll hold on. We'll hold on to that, but we'll start to pick them. Let's go
See
with
that scrimmage because it's nothing you can say to me. Like I don't understand.
We'll start the almost famous OTR pick 'em. Let's go to the standings, man. Now listen, I'm gonna let Quan explain this, man. Quan.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Listen, I don't do the results. I just listen. They are sent to me by a decision desk, just like they do the election coverage. And this is what came to me. Quan went 0-13 on the week. I will let Quan explain that.
You looking like Trump out there, Quan. What's going on, man?
I'll let Quan explain that. But this led to a change in the standings. Quan was number one. Now he's down to the third, and there's a two-way tie for first place currently in the overall standing. So, Quan, the floor is yours, yo. What explain to the people why you have an 0-13 score for this past week.
Well, quite honestly, I was feeling sorry for them, these two guys. You know what? Let me just give them a week to come up. And so, I'm the one to fall on the sword. So I did that, and I'm down now. But I gave you guys a week, and now I'm about to be on y'all's asses. So enjoy it because I'm making a run back.
You got your picks ready?
I do.
Okay.
You got your pick. So is that what you want to go by? You 0-13 because I think you want to explain what happened, yo, because people would think that you chose all 13 games wrong. And no, I don't want the people to think that of you.
Nah. I mean, even if they did, then so be it. But that's what it is. And I'm like I said, I'll let y'all have it last week. So week, I got my picks ready, and we can get started.
Well, I'll tell the people what happened. Quan, so we couldn't record last week. So what we do is send our picks to each other, and we typically send them in to Brandon, who is tabulating and keeping track of the standings. And I guess Quan never sent his picks in, so that equaled to 0-13. And to let the people know that we being fair, I was 5-8 this week. 2 of my L's came because I did not send 2 games. So because I did not send 2 games to Brandon, or I missed picking those 2 games, I took 2 L's for that. So
Brandon submitted all of his picks.
And Brandon, as you can see, Brandon had a 10-3 week. So good for him. So we'll move on, man. Listen, well, I did want you guys to see this. So Baylor is saying Raider Nation, by the way, he pays close attention to those picks. So
hey, ain't gonna like my pick this week then.
All right, so let's get it started, man. Let's get it cracking. Let me pull up the schedule. This Thursday, man, we had Green Bay, who traveled to San Francisco. I think we all chose Green Bay, but in particular,
you did pick the score. Go ahead.
One person picked the exact score. It doesn't mean shit, but hey, I picked it exactly. I don't get any extra points for it. But anyway, I think we all starting off the week 1-0 because we picked Green Bay with that one. So we'll move on.
Nah.
We have Denver. And listen, hey, y'all, we've been on here almost 2 hours. Let's just be quick. All right. Spit your pick in the score, and let's go. We got Denver traveling to Atlanta, 1 p.m. kickoff. Starting with you, Quan. Who you got?
Denver 14, ATL 7.
Okay. Who you got, B?
I got Atlanta, 34-27.
I want to pick Atlanta, but I'm done. I'm done with them. I got Denver 24-21. Next up, we got Seattle traveling to Buffalo. This should be a good game. 1 p.m. kickoff. Who you got, Quan?
Seattle 21, Buffalo 17.
Who you got, B?
Buffalo 33-31.
I have Seattle 27-24 in a close battle. Next up, we got Chicago and the boys from the Windy City traveling to Tennessee to face Quan's boys. Well, not his boys, but Quan rep them Tennessee boys.
I got to rep them Tennessee boys. So look, I got them Tennessee boys 21, Chi-Town 9.
Okay. Who you got, B?
I'm gonna go with Chicago on this one. 27-23.
Yeah, I went Tennessee 24-17 on this one. Next up, we got my boys, the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Indy to face the Indianapolis Colts. 1 p.m. kickoff. Who you got, Quan?
I got Indy losing 17, Baltimore 24.
Okay, who you got, B?
I picked Indy to win this game, 27-24.
Whoa. You did you?
I picked Indy to win this game.
Okay. All right. I got Baltimore 28-22. We had a couple players in the COVID protocol, but they just got released today. But so I'll still keep it that close. I got 28-22 Baltimore. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers traveling to KC to face the Chiefs. 1 p.m. kickoff. Who you got, Quan? I already know. I shouldn't have asked you, but go ahead, Quan.
I got KC, dog. I got KC 23. I got, I'm not really feeling Carolina now. That's right. As of right, that's a little political thing right now. I still got love for them, but right now I'm a little bit hurt. But so I'm Carolina 21.
Okay. Who you got, B?
Kansas City 28-17.
I got KC 28-20. K-Mac coming back this game, so we'll see what he does to give Carolina a little push on the offensive end. The next game, we got Detroit traveling to Minnesota to face the Vikings. Who you got, Quan? 1 p.m. kickoff.
I got Mini 14, Detroit 13.
Who you got, B?
I got a 1-point game as well. Minnesota 24-23.
I got Mini 24-17. Oh, okay. Hold on. The next game, I want to highlight this next game. Okay. Now, we didn't get to do this a couple weeks ago. We didn't record, but this time we are here. So, of course, I have to bring up the Quan versus Brandon segment. We have the New York Giants traveling to DC to face the Washington Football Club team, whatever we're going to call them. 1 p.m. kickoff. Listen, man, I know it's down years for your teams, yo, but I would like to see y'all ride for him for a second, man. So what you got, man? How does this happen between y'all two? The floor is yours. What you got?
Well, the way that Brandon was just rubbing his hands, I think Danny Dimes need to rub his hands too, because he's due for about a good 3 picks. It's like a certain Eli Manning used to do. So we'll be ready. We'll be ready. We'll be ready for this game. They're coming to us. And we all know how y'all play when y'all come to us. So y'all, Thursday night loss? That really took a lot out of them. You have no Saquon. Gallman's playing good. I like Gallman, actually. But, I mean, it's going to be a football game. But we'll win.
Oh, you done? Oh, Giants 35-0.
You finished talking?
Giants 35.
35-0
team.
35. He can't even score 35 points in the game, yo. What are you talking about?
35-0.
He can't even 35 points in the game. What do you mean? Really?
We will this week. You keep talking about the number 3 that you brought up. Daniel Jones throwing 3 picks. Well, we beat y'all the last 3 times. No Saquon the last time. No Saquon, no problem. No problem. We haven't been getting blown out. We haven't been getting blown out. We're 1-7, but 6 of those losses are one possession games.
He put 6 in those losses.
Six of those 7 losses are one possession games. We've got a young. We got young. Look, with Daniel Jones last year. Okay, cut him a little bit of slack. I'm fed up with his turnovers, but let's put it in perspective here. Okay, let's put it in perspective. Last year, all right, Eli was the starter. He was getting starter reps or whatever. Then this year, there was really no real training camp. So, he's starting off a little rough. But you know what? Like I said, we're competing. We competed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who a lot of people have going to the Super Bowl. We've played, like, the teams that we played this year were either in the playoffs last year, you know what I'm saying? Or they're tops in their division now. And we're competing with all of them. We just got some things we need to clean up. And against Washington, we don't have to worry about that shit.
And the thing that you got to clean up is Daniel Jones, because he's the one that's making boneheaded mistakes. And he's you
know what? He played last game, and so did Chase Young, and we still won.
But,
no Saquon. What was the problem?
But you guys lost 6 games, and we're better. So
how you better? You lost. We beat y'all.
Yeah, but we have a better record.
We beat y'all.
You're at the bottom of the barrel the last 6 games. So you know what that means to me? L7 weenie.
Like I said 2 weeks ago. We'll see you in 2 weeks when we get our second win of the season.
He's a weenie.
35-0.
3 picks.
35-0.
He can't even throw with 35 points, yo.
Quan, what's your score, man? Who you got? I mean, I'm assuming you got.
I have it low scoring. I mean, because I'm just going to be realistic. We're not the best team right now. As we know, the Giants are the bottom of the barrel, the scum of the NFC.
So we beat y'all.
Yeah, but you guys suck. 6 games. So
and you lost to us.
Weenie. L7 weenie. So at the end of the day, you guys are coming to us. I got it low scoring, 7 points, Giants, 14, Washington.
Yo, you remember like back in high school, Quan, where we would like before the season started, for you the football season, for me the basketball season, we'd look at the schedule and we go, oh, we got that. We just put W's and L's next to the games that we figured we was going to win. This is the game like we just put a W next to every single year. Even when y'all beat us, it's like, damn. How the hell did that happen? Trust, we putting W's next to those. Y'all can't see us, yo.
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
Y'all can't see us.
I can ask you a question. How many picks will Daniel Dimes throw tomorrow?
I don't know, but we'll end up with one W.
I do know.
We'll end up with another W. I know that.
Let me ask you this: Will he throw interceptions tomorrow? Will he throw an interception tomorrow? And can we agree that you can't win games with turnovers?
You can beat the Washington football team with turnovers.
You may be right, but you can beat the New York Giants with turnovers as well.
Yeah. Well, it's the Giants versus the football team this week. Mike, why are we doing this? Who's next?
Okay. Hey, man, listen, the two of y'all, your team's facing off. I wanted to let y'all get some steam off, man, heading into the week.
I do like Blake Martinez, though. He's the best player y'all got on the team.
See that he showed some love there. Who you showing love to on the Washington Football Club team?
Chase Young.
Okay. Chase Young is once in a
Chase
lifetime.
Chase Young, Payne. Your defensive front is stout. Like, how many touchdowns the defensive front gonna score this year? That's how you win games.
Yeah, but I know how many sacks we're gonna get tomorrow.
Yeah, well, those don't count as points on the scoreboard.
They need those. They count as throw his ass in the dirt.
All right, what's your pick, man? What's the score?
I gave you the score.
I got the New York Giants winning 10-9.
10-9.
10-9 New York Giants.
Mike, I don't get it, yo. You down with the Sith, yeah? I don't.
Yeah, you know, I can never pick the biscuit. Never.
You pick the shitty ass Giants.
Ever. Was left. I didn't have much of a choice, Quan. I had to pick one team.
Okay, well, you can ride with that wagon too tomorrow.
Well, the spreadsheet didn't even recognize that as a score. I thought I was trying to put in a date, October 9th. No, they got 10-9. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Moving on. We have the Houston Texans traveling to Jacksonville to face the Jaguars. 1 p.m. kickoff. Quan, who you got?
I got Houston taking this one. I got Houston 21, Jacksonville 17.
All right, who you got, B?
Houston 25-20.
Okay, I got Houston. I've been riding with them all season. I got Houston 24-14. Jacksonville has some rookie playing starting tomorrow at quarterback. So if Houston can't get this one, I'm done with them too.
Yeah,
Next
you
up.
gotta believe Watson's gonna beat Minshew Magic. But go ahead.
Well, Minshew not playing. That's what I'm saying. They got some.
Oh yeah, they got some dude. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So if he can't win this one, then I can't keep wasting picks on those guys. Next up, we have Las Vegas, aka the Raiders. Some of my West Coast brothers don't like me saying Las Vegas. So the Raiders, very, very, very short trip to face the Chargers in LA. 4:05 kickoff. Who you got, Quan?
I'm gonna rock with LA. I got LA winning 24 to Las Vegas 21.
Okay, who you got, B?
I wanted to pick Gruden in them, but I went with the Chargers 26-24.
Chargers look good, man. They look good in games, but they end up not finishing them. So I'm gonna go with Las Vegas and the Raiders 21-20. Next up, we got Pittsburgh traveling to Dallas. 4:25 kickoff. Who you got, Quan?
Hold up. Yeah. 24, Pittsburgh, Dallas 9.
Okay. Who you got, B?
I got Pittsburgh 37-6.
I got Pittsburgh 28-10. Whatever's Dallas starting some other cat too. So that game's probably gonna get ugly. Next up, we got the Dolphins traveling to Arizona to face the Cardinals. 4:25 kickoff. Two and the boys. Who you got, Quan?
I got Miami 21, Arizona 14.
Okay, who you got, B?
I got Arizona 27-24.
I got Arizona as well, 27-21. But Miami's tough, man. They tough.
They are, but
That was a
Arizona
hard game
coming
to
off a
pick.
bye week.
Yeah, that was a hard game to pick, but yeah, I'm gonna go with AZ. The 8:00 game. New Orleans traveling to Tampa to face Tampa Tom and the boys. 8:20 kickoff. Who you got, Quan?
Tampa 22, New Orleans 14.
What about you, B?
I went with the Saints 35-33.
I also went with the Saints 24-23. I think it'll be a close game, but I think the Saints pull it out. And then Monday night matchup, we got New England traveling to New York to face the Jets. Who you got, Quan?
The Jets 3, New England 21.
Okay. Who you got? Who you got, B?
I got this being a boring ass game. New England 22-16.
Scores was close on that. I got New England 21-17. I can see it being boring, but I hope it's a game that Cam can get some confidence back and they show out and they whip some ass. So that is the OTR pick'em. Hopefully we all do well. Psych. Hopefully I just do well. Y'all do okay.
Well, I got some picks there that should give me the lead if they pan out.
Well, we'll see, man. We'll see how it goes. Now, I do, and then I'm going to close the show out, but I want to close it out in a special way. Alex, is he in there? Alex, bring your ass back in here. What the hell is he doing? Come back in here, man. So we can't hear you, bro.
What up?
What you rearranging the office, man?
Yeah, I was getting some work done.
The studio. So I want to end the show on this note. So today is November 7th, right? And actually, November 7th is to the date a year ago that Off the Record podcast dropped its first 4 episodes. So this is our actual 1 year, what they call podiversary. So from me to you three, salute. We made it a year. We doing some big things, and I see next year being even bigger. But I want to give you guys a shot, a chance to speak quickly on what this year was like for you guys and how it feels to be a year in the game, a year as creators, a year as creatives, a year as podcasters. What you guys think, man? Quan, I'm gonna start with you, man. We made it a year. What you think? And I don't even know if y'all knew today was the year, so I wanted to throw that in there. But
I
Did
didn't.
not.
I did not. I didn't know, man. And that's great to hear. That's great to hear. 1 year into our show, it's been a good year. It's been some ups and some downs, personal wise, and we've been rolling, man. We've been consistent. As a creative and as a podcaster, I say before I didn't see myself getting into it, but once I've gotten into it, man, it's been a great journey, and I continue to do more, and I see a lot of inspiration around me to continue to help out and create and continue to provide more for our show and content for our show, and I just want to continue just to for us to continue to be consistent, man. It's been an awesome ride. Like I said, it's been some ups and some downs, and the great thing about it is we get better, we learn more, and we get better every episode, and we continue just to bring our creative ideas, and we just keep bringing more flavor, keep bringing more. So yeah, man. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the crew, man, for for us bringing this together, and we're just gonna just keep giving everybody more, So let's just keep it pumping, keep it going.
well said, well said. Brandon, what you got to say, man? 1 year in the game, man. What you think?
Happy podiversary, whatever you called it. It's been great, man. A year ago from now, didn't see us being here, but I'm glad we are here. We got a platform. Let's continue to use it.
Word, Alex, you've been a podcast and a creator for longer than the year that we have, but what's your feeling on OTR being a year old?
Yeah, it's been a fun ride, man. I'm surprised we made it a year, but we made it. It doesn't look like the show is going away, so it's been a fun ride, and I am curious to see what direction the show goes in moving forward.
Well said. Well said. So again, we made it a year. A year ago from now, didn't see us being here. Couldn't imagine being a podcaster or a creator or a creative, as they say in the industry. But of course, I like to shout out all the supporters, man. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in and sticking with us throughout this year, pushing us to continue to get better. And trust me, we will keep getting better. As always, man, y'all stay blessed. Be safe out here, man. The climate's a little different. Things are a little wild right now. So everybody be safe. Everybody stay cool. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And of course, man, check us out. Off the Record Podcast. Find us on all your podcast platforms, as well as checking out the people that power this place, power this show. Crossover Media. Find that on all your social media platforms at Crossover 365. I think that's it, man. Look for us sometime soon. We gotta touch on this politics stuff, so we'll be back next couple of days sometime. Enjoy your weekend, man. We out.
Peace.
Peace.